very sobering to see some of the pieces of history in front of you. Seeing some of those videos really kind of ingrains it a lot deeper.
Seeing the pictures of the dead bodies and of the children in the camps is really just a little depressing for me, just seeing it all come to life.
You couldn't do something like that unless you so dehumanized a race that you thought you were just treating objects, not people.
You could see, like, even decades later, it still affects the survivors.
Coming and being reminded of just what they had to go through. Reading that, it's hard. Sometimes you just want to stop reading through a sentence and think, I can't even sit there and read something, but they actually had to live their whole lives going through these things. And it wasn't that long ago. We're talking about less than 100 years ago. And to think that our relatives went through that, I don't think it's talked about enough. My school, they would address it, but it was lightly touched.
You know, right now, anti-Semitism, the number one place that it's growing and it's increasing is on college campuses because of the misinformation that is taught by instructors, by professors even. And so I think the importance cannot be understated, right? If students are only hearing one side of a story, it misleads them and it misconstrues what actually is going on in the Middle East.
As a college student, I didn't really learn much in high school about the Holocaust. There are certain events that happened that I'm now getting educated. Thank you to CUFI for allowing us to be in this museum.
I am an international student from Turkmenistan. Coming from Central Asia, I had no idea what Holocaust is, and I didn't know the issues in Israel. Just learning that 6 million people were killed in mid-20th century just because they were born as Jews are mind-blowing. That education, that information was really needed for me to understand what history was and how Holocaust survivors were saying that this can repeat again.
As we see in current events, it's almost as if those events are replaying. And it's very unfortunate that people aren't realizing that world history is quite literally repeating itself every day.
When I went into that museum, I realized why we're fighting. So I really think being educated in this type of topic right here, man, you can really help make sure that stuff like that doesn't happen again, ever.
The biggest thing that stood out to me was the section about the righteous generation. And this is about the people who were basically the Christians or the Gentiles who were not Jewish that fought against anti-Semitism during the Holocaust. And I think that for me is really kind of paints a picture and it puts me in a more real connection to anti-Semitism because it shows me what my role is in this fight.
I believe what we're doing is very impactful for our generation because this generation needs to hear the truth that Israel's need to exist.
Seeing the necessity for a Jewish state, because we've seen what happens when there is no safe haven for Jews in the world. Right? We have atrocities like the Holocaust, and with anti-Semitism for the rise, I think now more than ever, a Jewish state such as Israel is needed and just strengthens my support and my reasoning for supporting a Jewish state.
We bring our students, we bring our families, we bring our visitors, we bring our guests, we bring anyone who will listen to these halls because we rise up and we say, never again shall this happen. And if we do not educate, if we do not remember, if we do not see, if we do not gasp at the horror and the atrocities, this will happen again. And we must stand strong. We must stand strong, united against the horror of anti-Semitism in the world.